Hello and welcome to the Fit Like a Girl podcast. My name is Jackie Lindahl. I am a mom of two, an avid coffee drinker, and a certified personal trainer. I have been in the fitness industry for nearly 10 years, and I help women get fit, strong, and lose weight without losing their damn minds. If you're looking for help on achieving your health, weight loss, and fitness goals without all the fitness industry confusion and BS, you have come to the right place. Hello and welcome back to the Fit Like a Girl podcast. My name is Jackie. And happy 2025. It is my first podcast of the year so far. And for today's episode, I was wanting to go over, let's just chat like New Year. We're all feeling New Year. I'm recording this on Monday, January 6th, which is like the first Monday of the year. Kids are back in school. Everybody's back at work. Like we are doing the thing. So I wanted this to kind of be like a New Year's podcast where I'm going to talk about our Christmas, first off, and some life update things, and then get into my goals and my ins and outs for the year, as well as do's and don'ts for you for your goals for 2025. First things first, life update things. I wanted to chat about Christmas break. We had a good Christmas break, but then we had a not so good Christmas break. So Christmas break started out great. We had my family's Christmas. My family always does Christmas just like kind of whenever. We don't have a set date. We don't do it exactly on Christmas Day. We don't do it exactly on Christmas Eve. We do it where we can because we have shift working people in my family. My sister travels down from about 3 hours up north. We just do it whenever we can meet up. So we did my family Christmas, and then we had the actual like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Everything was great, actually, in terms of like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It was great family time. My girls are at such fun ages, especially my oldest. Christmas magic is so fun now that she's 5 and she just like gets Santa. And again, I'm hoping that you are listening without children or with headphones in because I don't want to ruin anything. Okay, so if you're with your kids, just maybe listen at a time where you're not. Okay, cool. So she believes in Santa. She's excited about the idea of Santa. We get to be Santa, and I love that. And I think it's so much fun. And my youngest, she's only 2.5, so she doesn't quite get it yet, but she gets excited because her older sister is excited. And then it's just awesome. So I loved it. And I remember like coming home Christmas Day after going to my husband's family. We had a great day. The kids have 2 older cousins on my husband's side of the family that they just love playing with and hanging out with, and they just had the best day. And we came home, and I remember saying to my husband before going to bed, like, that was like the best Christmas ever. It was the best. I had so much fun with the kids. The kids had a great day. Like, it was awesome. Then at 3 a.m. on Boxing Day, I hear, "Mom, I'm going to throw up," from my oldest. And that's when the not so good part of our Christmas break started, where we all got norovirus. We all got norovirus, aka the stomach flu. It was awful. It went through each and every one of us. Started with my oldest, 3 a.m. Boxing Day, and she just like, she threw up for hours. Like for hours, to the point where like I was calling. We have, if you're not from Alberta, we have this service called 811 where basically it's like you call and you can talk to a registered nurse, and they can, kind of like talk about what's going on. They'll tell you, yes, you should get in to see a doctor. If your symptoms don't improve in X amount of time, you should get in, or you should go to the ER. They will like kind of give you advice. So I called in because like she could not keep anything down and she was just constantly throwing up and it was awful. So I called and explained her symptoms. She wasn't like crazy dehydrated at the point where like she wasn't, delirious. She didn't have dry mouth or anything like that, but she was just constantly throwing up. And I was like, holy shit, like there's nothing left in this kid. And they were like, no, it sounds just like a norovirus kind of situation. Watch out for these symptoms. If these occur, then definitely take her into the ER, but it should resolve here right away. Sure enough, within about an hour, she finally stopped throwing up. Like it was to the point where like she couldn't keep gravel down, she couldn't keep water down. Like it was like she could not keep literally anything down. Then later on that day, my husband got sick and he got it. So then I was like, oh shit. So then he never gets sick. Like I will get colds and stuff like that the kids get just because I think it's because he works out of the home and I am doing like daycare drop off when the kids are sick. I stay home with them. Like I am more susceptible to getting sick. It's not that he doesn't spend time with the kids. It's not that he's never home. It's that he's generally the one that works outside of the home and is not taking care of the kids when they are sick. So I usually get their colds and stuff like that, but I don't really get stomach flus. I have, knock on wood, managed to avoid most stomach flus that my kids have gotten, except for this one. So then we had like a day in between where we were like, oh, everybody's feeling good, or my husband and my oldest are feeling good. We took the kids like sledding, nice outdoor activity. It was a nice day, get some sunshine, get some fresh air, not be around anybody. Like, let's just go outside. Then literally that night, my youngest started getting sick. And she went from like, hers hit so fast. She was at 6 p.m., literally running around, jumping on the furniture, climbing onto the shelves. Like, this is her use. This is how she is, eating a chicken nugget, like just enjoying life on Christmas break as a 2.5-year-old, to like throwing up and asleep by 7 p.m. Like, it hit her so hard. And it hit her harder than my first one. And it's so crappy when your young kids, like younger than 3, get sick because one, they don't know what's going on. My oldest now knows when she's going to throw up. She knows what feeling nauseous means, and she'll say, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And then when I say, okay, here's the bucket, she will throw up in said bucket. My youngest is not at that point yet. And anybody who's had a toddler with the stomach flu, they will understand this. They don't know how to aim. They will like scream because their stomach hurts. I get it. And then they just throw up everywhere. Or you're trying to like get them to puke in the bucket, but they just like end up puking everywhere. Or you're trying not to like hold their head and like hold it into the bucket. But anyway, so she puked from like 6 p.m. on and off until 2 in the morning. So my husband and I literally just like, we have this spare mattress that we have as like a spare bed. We just brought our spare bed mattress into the living room. We camped out in the living room with her for the night. By the next morning, she had had a nap and actually was feeling better and eating and stuff. So it was one of those flus that like it hit hard, it hit fast, it was brutal, it was awful, and then it was over. So then by the next day, she was feeling better. Great, yay. We kind of had like, again, a bit of a break. But then the following day, I got sick. And again, like I don't get stomach flus. And yeah, so unfortunately, I did not throw up, thankfully. But I spent all morning in bed, completely nauseous, couldn't get out of bed, which is not my usual. Like, I'm not a napper. I don't nap. Even when the kids were really, really little and they weren't sleeping, I don't nap. If I'm napping, I was either ever severely hungover. That's really the only time I ever napped, or I was like seriously sick. So I spent the day in bed till 3 p.m. on and off sleeping all day long. Thank God my husband was still home from Christmas holidays, because that would not have worked if I was by myself. It would have been terrible with 2 kids who are feeling better, by the way. They're feeling better now, but I am the one that's sick and I'm nauseous and I can't get out of bed. Yeah, it was brutal. Thankfully, we're all healthy now, but then I keep seeing like articles online that norovirus is like rampaging all over the place. And a lot of people are saying it's because like we didn't really see norovirus much during COVID because of masking and social distancing and all that kind of stuff. So now it's like making a comeback because people didn't get it for the past couple of years and now people haven't had it, so there's no immunity to it, so it's just whipping through people. But yeah, it's brutal, it's terrible. I apologize if your kids also had the stomach flu over Christmas break because it fucking sucked. Anyways, funny story from Christmas now. I talked about this on my Instagram and lots of people like were laughing and groveling about it with me, so I thought I would share it on here. So my oldest, again, if you're listening with kids, anyway, so my oldest wanted one of those new Furbies from Santa for Christmas. Literally the only thing that she asked for was a Furby. So my husband and I, naturally, found the Furby. Great. Yay. It was on sale at Walmart, and we just grabbed like the rainbow one because she wanted a rainbow one. If you know my daughter, you will know it. She is a rainbow, pink, and sunshine. How I got this how my daughter is like this, I don't know. It's just in her. But anyways, so she wanted a rainbow Furby. Cool. We found the rainbow one. Great. I did not know that the Furbies came in specific languages. I assumed that the Furbies would either have different language options that you could pick, or they just like generally, if they were being sold at Walmart in Edmonton, they spoke English. That was stupid of me. It had French writing on the box, but I was like, oh, it's like French/English. Of course it would speak English. Of course the Furby would speak fucking English. So she opens it and we like put batteries in and everything like that. She's super excited and the fucker speaks French. Now, does my daughter speak French? No, of course not. Is she in French immersion? No, of course not. Do her parents speak French? No. So my poor kid got a French speaking Furby for Christmas. Now, she does not know that the Furby speaks French. We told her in our infinite Christmas lies that the Furby only speaks gibberish, kind of like the minions from Despicable Me have their own like gibberish language. Furbies kind of speak gibberish. So that's what we told her. A bold-faced lie, but I did not want to ruin the Christmas magic. Now, my husband and I may try to go and find an English-speaking Furby, but here's the problem was when we went to the store, the French ones, I'm learning now that are the French ones, are rainbow. And the other ones were purple. She didn't want purple. She wanted fucking rainbow. So that's why we got her the rainbow French speaking Furby, because it was fucking rainbow, because that was important. God forbid Santa brings her a purple Furby. So anyways, we're going to try to see if we can find a rainbow Furby and just swap it and exchange it and just don't say anything. What are the chances that we could sneak the other Furby out of the house to exchange it without her noticing? I don't know, but we're going to give it a shot and see if we can exchange it, if we can find an English speaking rainbow fucking Furby. Anyways, that was my Furby mishap. Santa done bad. She doesn't know the difference. Thankfully, she's only 5, but I worry that like she will talk to her friends and maybe one of her friends got a Furby and then the whole thing is blown out of the water and Santa's just a bad person and got her a French speaking Furby. So I'm hoping that if we can correct this wrong before before she figures it out. So that was our Christmas break. Now let's get into my ins and outs for 2025. I love hearing people's goals, by the way. Let's talk New Year's resolutions for a second, because there's been a lot of like down talk of New Year's resolutions, at least that I've seen for years, where it's like, oh, what's the point of setting New Year's resolutions? People who set New Year's resolutions fail, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. Look, there's nothing wrong with setting goals. You don't even have to think of it as a New Year's resolution if you don't want to. You can just think of it as I'm setting myself goals for the year. I like to set myself goals for the year. Do I accomplish each and every single one the way that I think I will? No, I don't. But I like setting myself goals for the year because I know for sure that I will get some, if not most of those goals met throughout the year. And that's important to me. It's also important to me to have things that I want to strive for, to continually do better, be better mom, be a better wife, be a better homemaker, although we all know how that one's going, be a better business owner, be a better trainer and a coach for my clients. And then also just have things in my life that I enjoy for no other reason than I just fucking like doing things. So I like setting goals and things like that for myself. I also like to set myself financial goals. I like to set myself business goals. I like to set myself like specific things that I want to do throughout the year. I don't see any issue with that at all. I think that if maybe you only have one singular goal for the year and you have no other goals, I don't know, maybe you need to diversify your goals a little bit. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but there's nothing wrong with setting New Year's resolutions. I'm a big fan of New Year's resolutions. So I have a list of goals for myself that I want to achieve for the year in terms of my business, in terms of, saving more for retirement, in terms of we want to renovate our house so that we can, whenever we are ready to, eventually move. I have goals for this podcast, and I have goals also for like, I also have goals for the amount of workouts that I want to do this year. So I did something different with my workouts that I don't usually do. And I set myself a workout goal for 2025. So that's one of my ins for 2025 is I'm going to achieve 250 workouts. Now, the reason why I set this goal specifically is 2024, I stayed decently consistent with my workouts, but not as consistent as I feel like I could have been. I didn't really push myself with my workouts. I didn't really force myself to go above and beyond. I did bare ass minimum in terms of workouts for 2024, which is okay. Sometimes it's like that. And 2024 was like that. It was just a busy year in terms of business, which is great. And I'm happy about that. And it was a busy year in terms of my hobbies, and summertime was really busy with like horses being sick on and off and all these other things going on. That yeah, it was just I only had so many hours in a week, and there were some things that got shifted off the priority list, and that's okay. So I'm setting myself up for better fitness success this year, and that's where I came up with the goal of 250 workouts throughout the year to help keep myself consistent and to help push myself. Now, I did set some parameters on the 250 workouts. It has to be a minimum of 10 minutes. So I'm not talking about 250-hour workouts. I'm just talking about 250 planned, executed exercise throughout the year. So it has to be a minimum of 10 minutes. It could be a circuit, it could be cardio, it could be strength training, it could be a full workout, it could be a half a workout. It just has to be longer than 10 minutes. Has to be some I'm not counting like regular walks unless it's a hike or a walk that's over an hour long. I am counting cardio. I'm counting any kind of strength training, yoga. I'm counting mobility work, anything where I am planning and executing some form of exercise. So that is my plan for the year is 250 workouts. And if you saw on my Instagram, I created like a little chart that I'm going to X off the workouts or color in the chart as I go throughout the year. So if you want one, I also created a bunch of different ones. So I created like 100, 150, 200, and 250. If you want one, let me know. I've already sent like a dozen out to different people who wanted one for themselves for the year. And yeah, it's just going to be a good goal to keep myself going throughout the year and also have that like measurable, actionable thing that I need to do to keep myself just a little bit more consistent. And it will force that weekly consistency that wasn't as good in 2024 to just be a little bit better this year. So that's my biggest like fitness goals. I feel like I need to kind of work back into the return of fitness and really pushing myself and doing better. So that's one of my ins. My other in for this year is protein intake. I slacked on my protein intake, and I have noticed actually I've lost a little bit of muscle over the last little while. So bringing protein back in. Is it a crazy amount of muscle? No, but it's enough that I notice it when I look in the mirror where I'm just like, my shoulders and my arms just aren't as like full as they were before. So protein intake and tracking my protein is back in. And really, I know what it is. It's that I'm really just missing like one serving of protein a day, which I could do with a protein shake. And it's because I got sick and tired of drinking protein shakes there for a while. So I just wouldn't drink any protein shakes, which is fine. But I also didn't replace it with anything else. So I just slacked on like my protein intake that I like to be at. So I like to be at least 130 grams, if not more, a day. And I was hitting like around 100 grams, which isn't awful. A lot of my clients, that's where they're starting is 100 grams, but I know that I can do better and I have done better. So bringing in protein shake is in, or just protein intake is in for 2025 for me. Other ins for 2025 is I want to do more in-person things in terms of meeting other people, connecting with other business owners, and just growing my network, just so that I get myself out of the house more often. Maybe I'll get out of leggings now and then. I used to do a lot more just like going to in-person events and meeting new people and that kind of thing. And I did do it a few times over the year, this past year, and I really enjoyed it. I went to the Evolve Fitness Conference in September, which is like a personal training conference. Loved it. It was a great time. Really like made me excited about coaching again and helping people, and learned some great things. Met some people in the industry that I have followed on social media for a while, but never actually connected in person with. So connecting in person with people is one of my ins for 2025, whether that be attending more networking events, things like that. So it will flex my extroverted side. It's always a challenge for my introverted side, but I can turn it on and be an extrovert when I want to. So it will help me do that and get me a little bit more outside my comfort zone. I usually go to these events alone. So it's really forcing me outside my comfort zone, because when you don't know anybody at these events, or you only know one or two people at these events, you have to force yourself to meet people, and you don't want to be that awkward, weird person who doesn't talk to anybody. Now, do I go in the room and I talk to everybody in sight? No. I usually will get like one or two people, and then, but still, it's a step. It's a step. It gets me out of the house. So that's one of my ins for 2025, is more in-person connection and going to more in-person events, specifically things like business owners events, women in business events. I used to go to those all the time. Yeah, and I enjoyed it at the time. It always kind of just like, you feel motivated and good about yourself after, and generally you get dressed up and all that, and it's nice to go. So that's one of my ins for 2025. Other things is that are in for 2025 for me are hobbies. So hobbies are going to be in for me for 2025. And the reason why is because one of my outs for 2025 is being on my phone. So ins for 2025 for hobbies include reading. I want to read more books this year, whether they are business related books, or I also just kind of miss enjoying a book just for the sake of enjoying a book. So yes, I do like reading business books, habit-based books, fitness books, those kinds of things. Yes. And I need to do more of that just to expand my knowledge for my industry. But I also want to do more just reading books for the sake of just reading a book. And so I'm going to try and find some books and some series that I enjoy. So if you have any that you enjoy, let me know. I'm very particular about like nonfiction books. I'm not a big fantasy person, which is funny because I am a huge fan of Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Movies, though. I am not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter books. I find them hard to get into. But I love the movies. Don't try to logic your way into this. I know the books are better than the movies, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I grew up with two brothers, both that read the Harry Potters and Lord of the Rings, and anytime we'd watch the movies, I would just hear, beep, 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 they're not like the books, nothing like the books. I don't care. Let me watch Lord of the Rings and swoon over Aragon in my own world. So, reading and finding some nonfiction books or series that I like that are not really fantasy. Yeah, fantasy is not really my thing when it came to books. Like, I read the first and second Harry Potter, but I just could not get through the third. I don't know. I don't know, but I love the movie. The other hobby that I want to get more into again is guitar. So years ago, this is like 10 years ago, my husband bought me a guitar for my birthday in like 2015 because I wanted a guitar, because I wanted to play a guitar playing. I wanted to be a guitar playing girly. And I picked it up for a few years on and off, and then I put it down. And then I put it down for like 5 years, and it sat in my closet collecting immense amount of dust and getting horribly out of tune. So a few weeks before Christmas, I actually picked it back up again and started playing. And I forgot how much I liked it. Am I terrible? Yes. Am I going to take lessons? No, probably not. Will I YouTube and that kind of thing? Yes. Is it something that I will share with other people? Fuck no. You will never hear me play guitar in person. So it's just something that I like to do. The whole reason why I wanted a guitar back in 2015 is so that I could learn to play my favorite songs and sit in my room and play them and sing them for nobody in the world to hear. And that's my full intention, to do it all over again. So I can just learn to play my favorite songs that I can sing in my room by myself for no one, because I just want to do that for myself. So that's another one of my ins for 2025. Outs. Let's do outs for 2025. my phone and doom scrolling. I am so horribly addicted to my phone. It's not even fucking funny. It's terrible. Over the Christmas break, it really emphasized how much I will be on my phone when I have nothing else going on. It's terrible. It's awful. For me, outs are spending less time on social media and less time doom scrolling. Now, does that mean that I will not doom scroll? No, of course, I'm going to doom scroll. Does that mean I'm not going to go on social media at all this year? No, but what I want is less. Just less, and replace it with hobbies that I enjoy. So that is one of my things for 2025 is to just be on my phone less. Like every Sunday I get the notification being like, this is your screen time for the week. I want that number to go down. Is it going to go down dramatically? No, but I want it to go down in comparison to where it is right now. So that is my biggest out for 2025. Other than that, I really don't have that many outs for 2025. Just that. Yeah, really that's it for 2025 in terms of outs, is just getting off my phone a little bit more. Okay, now let's focus on you, because you're listening and you don't really want to hear me talk about me all the time. Or do you? I don't know. You may have some goals set for yourself for 2025, and maybe they are fitness and health related. So let's do some do's and don'ts of your New Year's resolutions. These are not going to be just strictly weight loss related. This will just be health and fitness related in general. So, some do's for your New Year's resolutions this year. Do number 1, go in with a plan. A lot of people will just say, I want to do X, but they don't actually make a plan. I want to lose weight. I want to lose fat. I want to tone up. I want to be healthier, blah, 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 blah. But they don't actually have a plan on how they're going to do that. Or they're just kind of like, yeah, I'll just like do whatever. But they don't actually have any sort of a plan as to how they're going to do it. So where that comes in is some kind of a plan. Now, whether this is sitting down and writing specific things out, whether this is getting help with your goals, no matter what they are, just having some kind of a plan so then you know what you need to execute. Taking your goal and breaking it down into the tiny steps. You want to lose 20 pounds. Great. Okay, let's set that up. And anybody who has done any kind of like business goal planning or whatever, you have your SMART goals, specific, measurable, blah, 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 blah. That is a great way to start yourself off with a plan in terms of how you're going to actually achieve your goal. Other things that you can do is just take down, how are you going to do the first step? So the first step for losing 20 pounds is lose 1 pound. How are you going to lose 1 pound? 20 times. So once you figure out a plan to lose 1 pound, then you put that out for 20. Then you just keep repeating that until you reach your goal. Now, is losing 1 pound going to involve something stupid? No, of course not. We're going to be smart. We're not just going to starve ourselves until we lose 1 pound and then continue to starve ourselves until we lose 20. No, but focusing on specifics on how you're going to do that and breaking it down into those teeny tiny steps. You want to run a marathon. Great. How are you going to run your first kilometer? And then you focus your way from there. Finding a plan online. Here is a secret hack for you. ChatGPT. If you have never used ChatGPT, this is a great free way to help break down a plan. You could go into ChatGPT with the prompt of, I want to achieve X goal. If you have a timeline, you enter in the timeline, and then you put specifics on what you want that goal to look like, or what an idea of what you want the plan to look like. And ChatGPT will literally spit out steps in about 10 seconds as to how you can achieve that goal. Having some kind of a plan will help you execute it and then also stay on track for that. And again, you can always look into a coach or a trainer or an accountability buddy, a workout partner, whatever you need to do to help you stay on track for your goal. So do go into your New Year's resolutions with a plan. Next one, do number 2. Set realistic expectations. I cannot stress this enough. Oftentimes, the reason why we quit a goal is because we set our expectations in a completely unrealistic manner. You say that you want to get healthy, but you want to lose 20 pounds that took you 5 years to gain in about 3 weeks. That's not going to happen. That is an unrealistic expectation. You say that you want to work out, but then you set the goal as 6 times a week when you were doing nothing before. That's an unrealistic expectation. You're not going to go from 0 to 6 days a week. Let's be fucking honest. Maybe 3 days a week is a better expectation for you. You want to run a marathon in 12 weeks when you've literally never ran before. That is an unrealistic expectation and a surefire way to get hurt and or kill yourself while doing it. Go in with realistic expectations. Instead of wanting to lose 20 pounds in fucking 3 weeks and reverse your health around, start with more specific goals. Maybe you set yourself a movement goal. Maybe you set yourself a nutrition goal. Maybe you just start with a food log. Something like that. Go in with realistic expectations of where you're at now and where you want to be, and make up the steps in between. Unrealistic expectations will kill your goals and you will quit. And that's usually what happens is people feel like they are going to be perfect. Everything's going to go according to plan. When has anything ever gone according to plan and gone by the book ever in your fucking life? Never. But for some odd reason, when it comes to our weight loss and our health goals, we just think that it's going to be perfect and it's going to be great and it's all going to be fine. That's not how it works. So then they set themselves up with this crazy expectation, and when they can't meet it, or they can't be perfect, or whatever it is, they'll quit because they just feel like they might as well do nothing. That's dumb. Okay? Go in it with realistic expectations. Know that you're not going to be perfect. Have a plan for when you fall off track, because you will, and how to get back on, and continue forward from there. Do for 2025. This one is regardless of your goals. Fiber and protein. Cannot stress these enough. Did you know that they are seeing skyrocketing colon cancer rates in millennials right now? Millennials. I am a millennial. I'm 33, going to be 34 this year. Skyrocketing numbers of colon cancer in millennials. They are attributing it to a lot of lifestyle factors, including a low fiber diet. I cannot stress the importance of fiber enough. So do's, no matter what your goals are, whether it's weight loss related, weight gain related, maintenance related, whatever, health related, fiber, okay, is your best friend. I just cannot stress it enough. Having a high fiber diet is one of the game changers for your gut health, for your overall health, for the amount of nutrients that you get in your diet and how you feel. But increasing the amount of fiber that you eat is a game changer. High fiber foods include things like fruits, vegetables, berries. Believe it or not, lettuces are not that high in fiber. It's not that they're bad for you, but lettuce, like romaine lettuce, iceberg lettuce, those kinds of things are actually quite low in fiber. But vegetables such as like root vegetables like carrots, broccoli, beets, potatoes, those are quite high in fiber, as well as things like broccoli, cabbage, fruits, high in fiber, berries. Can never go wrong with adding more berries into your diet, fresh or frozen, doesn't matter. Lentils, beans of any sort, whole grains, oats, oatmeal, chia seeds, flax, those kinds of things are great to include in your diet. The actual real key to getting a crazy amount of fiber is beans and lentils. If you add in more beans and lentils to your diet, your fiber intake will skyrocket, which is great for your overall health. Not only is fiber super important for digestion, preventing colon cancer, but you're also just going to increase the amount of vitamins and minerals and the nutrient density of your diet. So when in doubt, just fucking intake more fiber, okay? Next, and protein intake. Most women, when they come to me, are drastically under eating protein, and protein intake and protein needs actually increase as women get older. They don't decrease. A lot of people think that our protein needs as we get older for women decrease, but they actually increase because as you get older, you start losing muscle density. To help keep that muscle density as you get older, you need to be continuing to increase protein intake. And this is also why strength training as you get older is so unbelievably fucking important, to help maintain and build that muscle mass so you stay strong. You're gonna be less fragile. Your muscles will be able to support your bones and joints as you get older. Just like, okay, fucking eat protein and fiber. I feel like I beat this drum so constantly, and I'm sure that my clients are so fucking sick of me telling them to focus on protein and fiber that they probably want to strangle me. It's valid, I understand, but still, just eat your fucking protein and fiber, okay? If you don't know where to start, message me. I'm happy to have a chat and help you out in any way that I can. Do's for overall health, fat loss, whatever your goals are, steps in daily movement. We as a society in North America are so sedentary. It's not even fucking funny. We are so sedentary as people nowadays, and I myself included. I have to work hard to get extra steps in throughout the day, especially in the wintertime. In Canada, when it's fucking cold outside and it's snowing, I have to work twice as hard to get steps in. In the summertime, I barely have to think about it. I will get steps in because I just will be outside naturally so much more. But in the wintertime, I have to work twice as hard to get the amount of steps in to get myself moving throughout the day. But as a society, we are so much more sedentary than we used to be, and it is having a huge impact on our health. I wonder why people are unhealthy nowadays. Yes, it does have to do with changes in our diet and our nutrition quality, but we are also lazier as a society. So increasing your steps in your daily movement is one of the big game changers, not just for fat loss or weight loss, but also for your overall health. Yes, if you have a fat loss or a weight loss goal, daily steps and daily movement is super important, but just we're focusing on overall health, steps and daily movement. Now, I'm not saying that you have to start hitting 10,000 steps a day, because especially if you're only getting in a maximum of 2,000 steps a day, that's going to be a huge jump. But just taking what you're doing and just increasing it by a little bit. If you're only getting 2,000 steps a day, maybe try for 4,000. Yeah, that's doubling it. That's going to mean like extra work throughout the day, but just a small incremental increase. Again, set realistic expectations so that you're not setting yourself up for failure. But one of the biggest things that you can do for your health is just move more throughout the day. Set up movement breaks. Go for a walk on your lunch break. Go to the downstairs bathroom instead of the bathroom that's in your bedroom or in your office if you're working from home. Just doing anything that you can to get in more steps throughout the day will help your health. Let's get into the don'ts for 2025 for your health and fitness goals. So just to recap, do's for 2025 for your New Year's resolutions: go in with a plan, set realistic expectations, fiber and protein, steps in daily movement. Now, so I could continue the do list on and on and on, but I feel like these are the important things for any goal and your overall health and wellness. Now let's go into the don'ts. Don't over restrict foods. A lot of people, when they are going into a health or a fitness goal, they automatically go into a restrictive mindset. I need to get rid of foods. And I actually was having a conversation with a client earlier today. She's wanting to focus a little bit more on her nutrition for 2025. Love it. Great. The first thing that she said is, I feel like I need to cut out bread. And I said to her, girl, no. Once we start going down the slippery slope of restriction and taking foods away, it automatically will put us into that binge restrict mindset. So I said, instead of focusing on removing bread from your diet, because I guarantee you bread is not the problem in and of itself. Look, what can you add in? Because she said one of her favorite things is she loves having toast in the morning. And she felt like she needed to cut that out. So I said to her, okay, instead of removing the toast, how about we add to the toast? And then she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, instead of removing the toast and getting rid of it altogether, what can we add to the toast to maybe make it more nutrient dense to help keep you full longer? So we found ways that she can include more fiber, more protein to the toast so that she can still have her toast, but also actually get full and feel like she's had a complete meal and it's going to last her throughout the morning until her next meal. And she felt so much better about that plan because she was worried that she was going to have to restrict bread, which is one of her favorite things. So rather than restricting, focus on what you can add in. Instead of cutting out chocolate and, writing off chocolate for the rest of your life, because how realistic is that actually going to be? What could you have with it? What could you have instead? It's not about removing the chocolate, it's about adding in other things. So stop with these over-restrictive bullshit diets that you hate, that you're not going to stick to anyway. I know it's tempting to go back to keto, and I know it's tempting to look at some influencer who's doing fucking carnivore and think, oh, I will just eat nothing but meat. Is that actually realistic, or are you going to hate your life in about 3 weeks, all in the name of just being fucking skinny? Like, come on, Brenda. You're better than that. Stop with the over-restricting bullshit for 2025. Instead, focus on what you can add into your diet to help increase the nutrient quality, make you feel full longer, and overall just not fucking hate your life anymore. So don't over-restrict. Over-restricting is out for 2025. Next, excessive workouts or cardio. Now, working out and cardio is important. Yes. However, when we try to overcompensate with exercise, often it starts to create this negative relationship with food and with exercise, where we start to resent exercise, or we're using exercise as a way to make up for what we ate. Oh, if I just go and run 10 kilometers, that means I can go to McDonald's for lunch. So then you're earning your food with exercise, which is a slippery slope to a fucked up relationship with both exercise and food. So no, we are not going down to the slippery slope of excessive workouts or cardio or earning our food with exercise. We are approaching it with a realistic view. Not only that, generally speaking, when people are going from 0 to 100 when it comes to exercise and cardio, they will inevitably fall off. If you are doing nothing right now for exercise, but you think that you're going to start doing 6 days a week, we already talked about this, that's not going to work. You will end up falling off on it. So instead, let's set a realistic goal. Realistic expectations. Who would have thunk it? Realistic expectations so that you're not going to be setting yourself up for inevitable failure and disappointment. Instead of starting with 6 workouts a week when you're doing currently nothing, maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most is a great place to start. And then you can build from there. There's nothing wrong with building from there, but just set yourself a good starting point. So don't, for 2025, no excessive workouts, no cardio, no earning your food with exercise. No. Don't, for 2025, number 3, give up when it's hard. It will get hard. Doesn't matter what your goal is. It's going to get hard. There's going to be challenges. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to fall off. You're going to get sick. You might even get injured. It's not a reason to give up. It's not. I know the knee-jerk reaction is to give up, but just because it gets hard doesn't mean it's a reason to give up. Shit's going to get hard in anything. I bet you that your job gets hard. I bet you your marriage gets hard. I bet you that lots of things get hard. Maybe marriage is a bad example. Don't quote me on that. But things are going to get hard, and that's okay, but it doesn't mean that you would just automatically give up on them. Don't give up on yourself. Maybe you need to change directions. Maybe you need to change up the goal. And those things are okay. But when you just say, it's hard, this is challenging, I quit, then you're just quitting on yourself. And then that becomes a habit over and over and over again, where you will just be continually quitting whenever things get hard. And then you sit here 5 years down the road wondering why you haven't achieved your goals yet. Because every time it gets hard, you fucking quit. So for 2025, stop giving up when it gets hard. You can slow down. You can change up the plan a little bit, get help, try a different approach. But when you just give up completely, that can be devastating, and it can make you not want to try again. Last don't for 2025 is don't major in the minors. And what I mean by that is don't focus on the bullshit that actually doesn't matter because you're just looking for the quick fix or the quick hack. Don't be focusing on supplements Don't be worrying about whether or not you should intermittent fast or do carnivore, or if you're missing an essential vitamin when you're not doing the big things. The big things being your steps, your diet, your workouts, your sleep, your stress management. Those are the big things. And if you haven't been focusing on those, but you're trying to wonder about what supplements you should take or if you should be taking fucking creatine, you're majoring in the minors over here. Focus on the big moving blocks. Don't focus on the little things. Once you have the big moving blocks, once you have the big essentials taken care of, and you've been consistent with those big essentials for a long period of time, like I'm talking months, if not a year or longer, then you can start focusing on the minor things and adding in supplements or whatever here and there. Stop worrying about the little shit and focus on the big shit instead. Like I said, your steps, your sleep, your diet, your workouts, your consistency. Those are the big things. Don't worry so much about the little shit along the way. So don'ts for 2025, over restrict, excessive workouts or cardio, give up when it's hard, and majoring in the minors. Hope you found this podcast helpful. If you did, I would love a 5-star written review, and I would love and appreciate it if you shared it with your friends and family. If you don't already, please feel free to follow me on Instagram. I will post that in the show notes and you can follow me there. If you have questions about my training programs, you can head to my website, www.fitlikeagirl.ca. I will also post that in the show notes. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next time.